Genetic variant combinations that cause curve progression. COMT and MTHFR genetic variants combined effects on adolescent idiopathic scoliosis progression. J. Wright et al., 2025. This study looked at teens with a type of spine curve called adolescent idiopathic scoliosis, AIS. In AIS, the spine curves for unknown reasons, usually during teenage growth. The researchers wanted to learn if certain genetic differences make the curve more likely to get worse as the teen grows. They focused on two genes, COMT, which helps break down important brain chemicals like dopamine, MTHFR, which helps the body use folate, a form of vitamin B9, to support many cellular processes. Previous research showed each gene might relate to scoliosis separately, but no studies looked at how they work together. The goal here was to test whether teens with both genes having low activity variants are more likely to experience worsening scoliosis. Who took part and how the study was done? The researchers studied 72 teenagers with AIS. To be included, each teen needed at least 2 spine x-rays taken during adolescence to measure the spine curve, known as the Cobb angle, an important metric for scoliosis. They excluded teens with scoliosis caused by nerve problems or other medical syndromes, so only idiopathic cases were considered. The teens were split into 2 groups based on their genes. Group 1, teens with low activity versions of both COMT and MTHFR. Group 2, teens with intermediate or high activity versions of at least one of those genes. Low activity means the gene works less well, affecting how the body processes important molecules. Researchers then followed each teen until skeletal maturity, when they stopped growing, and checked how many saw their curve progress by at least 20 degrees, or needed spinal surgery during that time. That was the main measure of progression. What the study found. Here's what the results showed. In Group 1, 78% of teens, that's 32 out of 41, had curve progression. In Group 2, only 48.4%, 15 out of 31, experienced progression. This difference was statistically significant, p equals 0.009, which means it's unlikely to be due to chance. Putting it in simple terms, imagine 2 teens with the same type of spine curve. One has genes that work slower for both COMT and MTHFR. The other has genes that work at normal speed for one or both. According to this study, the teen with the slower gene activity has a much higher chance, nearly 8 in 10, of seeing their curve get significantly worse. Meanwhile, the other teen has about a 5 in 10 chance. Why this study is important. If doctors can test for these gene variants, they might predict which teens are more likely to have worsening scoliosis. Targeted treatments. Knowing who is at higher risk could help decide who might benefit more from early treatment methods like bracing or special exercises. Tackling the causes. This work helps researchers understand how genes, biology, and spinal growth connect, especially genes that handle nerve chemicals and vitamin metabolism. First steps for personalized care. The findings hint at a future where genetic information helps doctors personalize scoliosis treatment rather than using one-size-fits-all approaches. Things to keep in mind. The study had only 72 teens. Larger studies would help confirm the findings. Only genetics. Scoliosis involves many factors: how a child grows, posture, hormones, and more. Genes are important, but not the whole story. Association, not cause. The study shows a link between gene variants and curve progression, but it cannot prove that the genes cause the progression. Need for broader research. More studies across different races, ages, and regions would tell us if these findings apply to all teens with scoliosis. A closer look at COMT and MTHFR. This COMT gene makes an enzyme that helps break down brain chemicals like dopamine, epinephrine, and norepinephrine. These chemicals are involved in posture, mood, and movement. When COMT works slower, these chemicals may not break down properly. The MTHFR gene helps the body use folate, a form of vitamin B9, to support many processes, including DNA repair, cell growth, and nerve health. If MTHFR activity is low, these critical processes can be affected. Together, low activity in both genes may disrupt how bones grow, how nerves and muscles coordinate, or how the spine responds to stress. Summary: what you need to know. Teenagers with idiopathic scoliosis were grouped based on whether they had low activity variants in both COMT and MTHFR. Those with both genes working slower were significantly more likely to see their spinal curve worsen by 20 degrees or require surgery by skeletal maturity. The results suggest a possible genetic factor in curve progression that could help predict which teens need early treatment. The study builds a foundation for more personalized scoliosis care in the future.